Let me tell you, right then and there, I felt it's like God said to me, say, yes, girl. This is it. This is it. You say you're happy? This is it. This is what I'm calling you to. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kadisha. I am super happy to have you here. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little story time and a testimony of how God brought me into my current profession, and just how amazing it is. And the story really nice. I hope you stay to the end to hear how it all unfolds. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to click the bell so you can know when your girl uploads a new video. Alright, with that said, let's get into the story. Alright, so it started out, right, with, of course, I'm going to start from primary school so you can really understand how this all came about. So in primary school, I was very convinced that, I wanted to be a doctor. There was we were given an essay to write, and I was like, yes, this is my chance to tell them about being a doctor and whatever. Of course, in primary school, those are the professions that you hear about. You hear mostly about doctor, lawyer, teacher, those things, right? My dad was a teacher, and I know that him never make no money, so I really wasn't going to go down that route. Sorry, daddy. but of course, you always hear doctor and lawyer make them make money, right? So being in primary school, that's where my headspace was. Of course, you don't really know much, you just hear about these big professions and you just pick one, right? So I picked doctor. Tell myself that I was gonna do, I wanted to become a neurosurgeon. And boy, I wrote an essay and I got a really great grade on it, and I was yeah man, in grade 6, this is it, this is where I'm going to go. So of course I studied hard and I went to St. Jago High School. Right, so after I got to high school, now the path was still in my mind, like this is where we're going, this is where we're going, this is where we're going. So keep your head in the game. Of course, between first to like third form, it's like general subjects, so you get like a whole lot of them to do, and then as you go to grade 10 and up, that's when you start to specialize and narrow down and pick, right? So of course, you did the general things, and then when it came time to pick, being that you want to be a doctor, say you're going to have to pick the subjects them like bio, chemistry, physics, all the science subjects. You're going to have to do those. All right, so the time came for me to pick them, and during that time they were doing this experiment at my high school where they're basically allowing our batch to do 10 subjects. It was never done before. Everybody was just given 8, but that particular year they were giving us 10 subjects to do. Now of course 10 subjects meant 2 additional options on the table, and of course broaden the scope that hey, possibly you could explore other options, if you wanted to add a business in there, because people always say it's good to have a business subject. People always say it's good to have accounting and just IT and that kind of thing. It's good to have not just sciences, right? So of course at the moment I was quite excited to have the variety or the option to have more. All right, cool. So went through the process and I chose all my subjects, and I thought, yeah man, this is definitely where I should be going. I had all the subjects in place, and then the time came for me to do them. In grade 10 I sat 2 subjects. I did math and I did English, and when I did them I got a 2 in both of them. And guys, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth, like I didn't really study that well for it. So when I went in the exam and I started the paper, I was like, I feel like I honestly could have do better than a 2, honestly. So in grade 11 I decided that I was going to redo those subjects, so they were still a part of the 10, the math and the English, right? To be honest, I can't remember all 10 of the subject them, but just know say the sciences were in it, as well as maths and English. So all right, cool. I sat all of the subjects, got my grades, they were pretty good, and then it was time to matriculate into 6th form or grade 12, right? Went into sixth form, and the time came to narrow it down to the bio, chem, physics, right? But I think in order to do med, you could either do either math or physics, right? I was really good at math, and I thought, let me try pure math. This is where the journey just kind of went downhill, right? So me took up myself. First of all, it was like a prerequisite that you do add math before you take up pure math. I did not do add math in CXC, but me take up myself, but say me I go do pure math, right? Let's just say that the teacher was not the most he was not the most present teacher. He missed a lot of classes, and I don't think that he really taught for me to understand, and I never really get it. To be honest, it was really hard. It was really hard, and needless to say, guys, me pass it. I'm not gonna tell you my grade because shame will kill me. I'm not gonna tell you the grade, but just know it's a girl pass. All right. I know good grade, but we pass. Praise Jesus, and we move on with life. All right. So moving on to grade 13 now, I decided to me not carry pure maths because it was going to be the same teacher. It never made no sense. So I left it there, and I was just like, all right, these are the grades. When the career day comes around and they do what you need to get into med, and I'm looking at what the grades that I have, and the pure math really brought it down, and I realized that I wasn't going to get the subsidy for for med and all of that, and I was just like, boy, I'm not even sure if this makes sense, and I started to like rethink a lot of things. I decided that I was going to redo chemistry because I had gotten a 3 in chemistry. I decided that I was going to redo chemistry. So me took up myself, going to exam, say yes, I'm going to, I got pass this time, I'm going to try for the 1. Guys, I went into the exam, and to be honest with you, when I sat there, I was like, what is me really get myself in now? No, seriously. Why me do this to myself? Like, I tried it in grade 10 and it worked. I don't know why me bother try again. I don't know. Like when you try something and you get away with it one time, I just love push my luck. And that is where, like, I sat in the exam and I was literally just thinking, like, how am I going to get out of this? Because you know that if you do the exam and you get a lower grade than what you had before, they're going to replace that grade with the previous grade. So you would have gotten, remember, I had a 3 at first, right? If I sat that exam and I got a 4 would be my new grade for chemistry unit 1, which is even worse than what I had initially, right? Because remember, say we are trying to get in a med in 1. To get into med, you need a 1, and me are coming from a 3. And when I sit down in the exam and look on the paper, guys, me tell the honest truth, I never did come out with nothing more than probably a 5. If me get 5, me don't get enough. The paper, I say the paper hard, the paper did hard. The paper did very hard. Alright? Partially that's me just personally feel like somebody just get done as the years go by, but that's another story. Anyway, I sat in the exam and I started to think like, God, how me get out of this? Like, what me can do to keep my 3 so that, me still have a like of fighting chance in a life. What me can do to keep the 3? So I say, like, I was sitting there and I remember just calling over the invigilator, and I said to her, so what's gonna happen? You do paper 2 first. What's gonna happen if I don't show up for paper 1? If I show up for paper 1, would my grade be replaced, or would I get an absent? And the invigilator told me that I would get an absent and I would keep my unit 1 grade. So currently on that paper that receipt grade is an absent, because guess who never got to the unit 1 paper? Did not go. Anyway, needless to say, girls still have our 3 in a grade 12 in a Cape unit 1, Cape chemistry unit 1. So yeah, we not do too bad in our life. All right, so I did a little better in Cape chemistry unit 2, and as you know, I dropped the pure math. So I think instead of the pure math, I picked up what MOB. What MOB mean again? I not even know. Money? No, I know that. Management of business. Jeez and peas, if you ever know what comes to the mind. Anyway, money over what? I'm not gonna go to it. Anyway, so afterwards, right, I do MOB, and you know, I get little, I think we get one in MOB or whatever, or if it's not one, it's two. But I did well in MOB, you know, like a business subject, you know, that hard. Anyway, I said, all right, cool, and then it was no time for me to go on to university. By this time, guys, like scientists did proper stress me out, and I was just like, as I was scrolling through like all the requirements of med, I was just like, why do I want to do med? I was looking at, it's a 5-year program, and I started to really rethink my reasons for wanting to do it. One, and just like, it's just something that I don't know, like I'm just never there feel the vibes anymore. The amount of years, all the stress that I went through with chemistry, and I'm like, I'm gonna put myself into this thing full time, you know, and do all of these subjects that I really struggle with. So I mean, I really think I do a good job at them. So like, do I want to fling myself into this head on full time into this profession? And so I really started to rethink my wanting to become a neurosurgeon. Right, at this time I was just like, I was very confused. I'm gonna say confused, like grade proper confused. All my other batchmates, like, they were going to university, they already applied, they knew what they were going to do. Me, never know what I'm gonna do. And guess whose father was not happy? Mine, because my father was just like, after 7 years of university and you still don't know what you want to do. And you know, I never really feel so great about it, but you know, I just decided I was going to apply for different things. So one of the things that I applied for that year was foods. I applied to become a chef at UTech, at the University of Technology, right? I put in my application because during that time I love to cook. I said love cook, girl, love cook. A long time I love cook. And I did a course while I was going to sixth form. I was doing a hard program in the evenings. So I would have school in the day, and then I would go to an evening program afterward. A hard program. So I had like level 1 food prep and that kind of thing going on the side. So you know, just I tried to keep my options as open as possible. So I was thinking, all right, since I have food prep and I have the sciences and whatever, you know, I think food would be a nice way to fuel my passion and my creativity and whatever. So I applied to become a chef. Lo and behold, I went to the orientation, and I was just like, as I sat there, like, it's like God had tell me, say, Kadisha, what you do? What are you doing? What are you seriously doing? Think about it. Foods, like, this is not it. Like, I just kept, I wasn't feeling easy in my spirit. You know, like when God leads you to a decision and you feel comfortable with the decision and you just feel good in yourself. This was not one of those moments. I felt like, I don't know, I just never feel at ease with the decision. Anyway, push come to shove, and I decided to say, all right, I'm now go bother the foods. And you know what? I just told Daddy, say, all right, look here, I'm just gonna sit out the year because I don't know what I want to do. And I heard so many stories of persons going to university, changing their major, wasting a whole heap of money. And my parents, honestly, my parents not have it. So I never want to put them in a position like that, you know, to waste their money doing something where in my spirit, I never feel like this is where I belonged. You know, I never hear God clearly tell me, say, cards, do this. You understand? So I opted to shift, and I just opted to sit out the year. Now this move for me was something that I found to be, at the time, in that moment, it really rocked me, because you know, you see all your friends going off to university, all your friends are basically, you know, they know what they want to do and they seem like they have it all together, and they just feel a wave. And I'm not gonna tell them no, like, because I was just like, why I couldn't figure this out? I had 7 years to figure it out. Why am I the year so? Anyway, I said to myself that, all right, I'm gonna take the year, I'm gonna work, probably save up some money, and then during the year I would research some things and some possibilities as to what I wanted to do. If I wanted to do the med still, or if I wanted to find some other alternative. So I began to work at a call center. You know, the local place that everybody go in, you know, when high school done, and some university graduates end up there too. We're not telling a lie. Life rough sometimes, and I just saw it go. You understand? But a lot of us, a call center help with a little bit. You understand? Yeah, we're not telling a lie. So girl did work a call center for like about 1 year, exactly a year. So while I was at the call center, you know, after I went home and stuff like that, so I would go home and I'd do research on different things. I remember my uncle coming from America, and him come down and him said to me, say, why you don't try dietetics and nutrition? And I was just like, I don't even know what that is. I heard about it before, but it's not a profession that when they do career day, I never see them people here before. So me I say, I owe them there. Anyway, I said, hurt for look into it, right? So I looked into it and I was like, all right, me look on the salary online, look so bad. And so of course, all the salaries that you're seeing is going to be in US dollars. I don't think I remember seeing any in Jamaican dollars, but either way, I think we all know that was a gross misrepresentation of the reality. But poor me at the time never did really understand that. Anyway, I was like, all right, this don't look too bad. I Googled it and I went to UTech's website because I wanted to go to UTech, right? In my head, I'm going to UTech. I'm going to do something. Whatever I'm doing, it's going to be at UTech. Because I went on the UE campus one time and the campus was so big. I'm lost. I'm a ball. I'm going to just feel really stressed out. I'm going to tell myself, say, God, I'm not come back over here. I'm not coming over here. So my heart was set on UTech. So I look up the dietetics program. It was a 4-year program. The money did way less than made it. It looked so bad. The years were less. The money was less. I said, this is not bad. And I still had the chance to use my science subjects as well as my passion for food. So you see, I felt like I was like, yes. I was like, yes, God, this is it. Because this is a combination of the things that I love. It's a combination of food and the sciences. So I get to use all of my knowledge mixed up in a one. You understand? So girl did well happy, right? So I was like, yeah man, I eat this. So I was there, and I think during that time my mother developed an injury. She had a frozen shoulder, right? So she had a frozen shoulder and she had to go to physiotherapy for it. So during this time my uncle come and tell me about this. I think it was probably about a month afterwards my mother started physio and whatever. So she started the physio and she come home and she said to me, say, Kadi, why you never look into physio? My physio is really nice, she young and she vibrant, so I like her, I like her. Why you never try physio? At this time I said, physio, what is that? Like all of these new professions, everything new to me. Like I don't know how many never seen none of them something in career there yet. But then again, it just very well maybe because we did focus on the food and not really on the people and what they did at top. So anyway, I said, all right, fine, let's look into this. So I'm looking into it, guys. I'm look into it. I'm going to say, you alone it there. That's a down. Like, I was just like, gosh, me know me not go at you. Anyway, what sparked my interest was that it lasted for 3 years. And at the time, the program was like 270 something thousand. 70 mash. I'd say like about 272,000 something. I may say, but this is less than dietetics, because dietetics was like 400,000. So them not only was the money less, but the years were less. And I'm not telling no lie, when I was a girl never want in a school for no long time. I just did want to go in and come out. You understand? Anyway, I'm gonna do the research on the money online. Like me do the dietetics, I don't know why I'm waste my time. The money never looks so bad. As I said before, this was a gross representation and remains that way to this day. Anyway, so I said to myself, say, all right, well, it's not gonna hurt to apply, right? So I applied and whatever. And of course, when you go on your website to apply, you had to pick out second choice. So I was there like, what am I gonna choose a second choice? I not even know, because what is there else is like nursing, and like me, Fairfax and nursing was never going to be it. Because I go to hospital, when they call out nurse name, like me just know say nurse is proper stressed, and me know say they never get no money for it because they always depend on TV or protest. Somebody know say nursing was not going to be it. But you have to select a second choice. So I select the nursing and I say, boy, well, God, this is a sign, because this is gonna be a sign. Like if a nursing didn't select me for, I'm not going to pick. I'm not gonna go. Not gonna go to UE. But anyway, all in all, my heart was still set on the dietetics and nutrition, right? Because remember, we are saying you can combine the foods along with the sciences. So what's better than that? At this point, that's where my heart is still at. Even though this looked nice over here, and I selected it based on the years and the school fee mostly, not because I know nothing about it. I did a little research on it and stuff, but it wasn't no, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with what they do. It was more so a fact of, oh, the school fees affordable and me not have to in a school for no long time. So I said, okay, fine. So the time came for which family? Sometimes that I mean I can tell a story and my brain just go blank. Anyway, so I applied for both UE and UTech, right? UTech now called me for an interview to the dietetics and nutrition. I went in the interview. It was a great interview, fantastic. Everything went well. Right then and there, the gentleman said to me, "You're going to get in." When he said to me, yeah man, you passed the interview and everything, and you know, we can't wait to see you September. And then he said to me, do you have any other options available? And I said, well, I'm looking into physio by UE, you know, but more than likely I'll probably end up here or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, before you could do physical therapy, before you could actually be enrolled in their program, right? Well, it's not before. Yes, it's before. It was basically mandatory that you do a 60 hours of volunteer service, right? So 60 hours of volunteer service. You had to do 40 at a public hospital and then 20 at a private. But you could do 40 at a public and 20 at a private. I think that was what it was at the time. And or you could do all 60 at a public facility, but they gave me the option. So at that time I was like, all right. I went to the hospital. I went to UE Hospital, University Hospital of the West Indies, and I got in and I asked them if I could do my volunteer hours there, and they accepted me. And then I decided that I wanted to do the remaining hours. I was going to do 40 hours at UE Hospital and then 20 hours at Mona Rehab Facility. So I went to UE Hospital, and what the volunteer hours entails is that you had to go around. They basically shadow the physiotherapy, so you got to see the profession firsthand. Like, let me tell you, that is something that I 100% recommend that every single profession do, because we go into things and we don't understand what we're going into. So when I did the volunteer hours, you basically brought me to different wards, like surgery, medical ward, all the different wards. I got to see everything, right? Everything that's what like UE had to offer. The outpatient department, that's how they treat it. Got to talk to the physiotherapist firsthand, like, do you like your job? What do you like about it? And you know, to this day, like all the physios that I've met, you know, they're very nice, personable people. And I was just like, why didn't people here so nice? Like, all of them just nice. Like, they're nice. They're a nice set of people, you know. And that was one thing for me. Like they were so friendly. They were so nice. They were so loving. And I said, all right, cool. This is not so bad. It's not bad at all. And I decided that I'm going to go to Mona next. So I went to Mona Rehab, which was a little different in terms of their space and everything. Mona Rehab was a lot more laid back than UE, and that is where it happened, guys. That is where it happened. So I remember the day like it was yesterday. There was an intern physiotherapist there, and she was treating a patient with cerebral palsy, or CP, right? And I remember her treating this patient, and oh my goodness, the joy on the child's face. Let me tell you, right then and there, I felt it's like God said to me, say, yes girl, this is it. You say you're happy, this is it. This is what I'm calling you to. And let me tell you, like I went home that day, and to this day, like every time I think about it, it made my heart squeeze me to how much joy it brings me to just see how that child she was so happy, right? She was so happy, and the physio just did an amazing job. I really and truly fell in love with physio at Mona Rehab. The facility, the people, the physios, the patients, everything. When I did those volunteer hours, it became very concrete for me that, yeah, I hate this. Dietetics and nutrition, even though the guy don't tell me already, say, yes, girl, they get in or whatever, at this point I was just like, no, this is it. This is definitely it. I came home, I was so excited about it. I was like, yes, we're gonna start. And I did the interview, and shortly after that they were calling for the interview, and the interview went well. You know, they saw my subjects, and they, you know, they said look at grades and so. And of course, we take the little absent worked in my favor because they were like, your grades are good, man, and whatever I say, oh, it's a good thing we never got a chemistry exam there. But yeah, the grades were good and whatever, and they said that they, they said, alright, and that particular year, they were taking less students than before because a lot of students had failed. So it was super competitive that year because they had cut down the cohort from about 60 to 40. So imagine, out of the entire Caribbean, UWI is the only place that offers the physiotherapy program. And remember, you're competing against people from all the Caribbean countries, right? And it's just like, I just thought, yeah, we never got pick. But I did not know that information until I got in, right? But I just knew that it was a competitive program to get into. Anyway, I was confident that I did well in the interview and whatever. And come down to like, school was supposed to begin August 26th. Right, remember now my heart set on physio, because dietetics never show me nothing, so me not understand how that go. But physio show me, and me in love with this over here, so this me I work with. I said, alright, so physio on this hand, and it look nice and thing. So I guess where I go. School, as I said, school was about to start August 26th. Coming down to the time, I think 2 weeks before school, I still not get no email for say me get accepted into the program. So of course, at this time I say, God, you're not gonna just make me feel so nice about this and not give me it. Like really? After me set my heart on it so much and all of that, I mean say, me not even respond back to me not even go to DN orientation. Me not go nothing so like say me say, God, and then the day I woke up one morning and I said, I think this was 1 week before school was supposed to start. And I said to my mother, say, you know what, we just got to buy, because you had to make uniforms, right? We wore uniforms to school. And I said, my mother said, look, we could go town and we're going to just buy the material and carry this up and go get the dressmaker, because I don't know how they expect us to start school. August 26th, I think that was the date. I don't know why that date is in my head. I think that was the date. And they don't accept we as yet. Like, what are they waiting on? Anyway, push come to shove, and the morning came and my mother decided to say, alright, we're gonna buy the material. We pack up everything and we say we're just gonna just buy it in a faith, right? And I headed out of the house and we were on our way down, and I remember I forgot something and I had to turn back into the house. And one mindset is like God just tell me, say, girl, check your tablet. At the time I had a look at tablet, internet tablets are running place, Anyway, I have one little tablet, right? I'm gonna check the tablet, and that's where I saw the email. And the email said, oh, congratulations, whatever, And I was just like, what? So I got in, and I was just like, oh my gosh. It was just like, oh my goodness. So I went outside and I told mommy, I was just like, mommy, you're getting, what am I saying? Oh, girl, gone by the closing confidence now. Like, I really spend the money happily now. Because, you're going to spend the money in a faith way, You're not too sure, but if anything, you just use the money, you just use the material, make one skirt and one dress or something. You know what I mean? But anyway, I was super happy when I got into the when I got email. And I'm not gonna lie, the school was rough. I'm gonna say school rough, but that's another story for another time. But let me tell you, the school was rough. But now that I am finished and a registered physiotherapist working in Jamaica, I honestly have to say that I don't think that I was meant to be anywhere else. Like, this is definitely what God called me to do. And a lot of persons in life don't find their purpose. They don't find that in their profession. They don't get that level of fulfillment. I always hear people say, like, find a job that you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. And while I have to admit that, sometimes you do get demotivated because you're not properly compensated in Jamaica, but the fulfillment that you get from treating patients, the fulfillment that you get from seeing a patient come in, not being able to walk, and through the help of God and just your guidance, they are able to come around. Listen, the amount of joy that bring you, listen, 100%, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Like, no regrets here. I would choose it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. As we say, it has not been easy, but I certainly believe that with the amount of lives that I've been able to impact, by being in this profession, that I strongly believe that God definitely called me here for a time such as this. And so if you made it to the end of this video and you like the little story, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, because I'm a vibe and it's a vibe over here, and you know, we're gonna talk about God all the time, all right, all of the time. Yes, because God is good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, walk good, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.
Hey.